2023 expenditures.
Hi.
And we have Judge Oxendine here that's going to give us the information.
So I essentially last year I was sent to the RISE conference by the Supreme Court as being a new treatment court judge. And it was apparent when I was there that it's a multidisciplinary national conference. And so it includes probation, drug court coordinators, prosecutors, defense attorneys, judges, social workers, medical professionals. And so it really includes the entire gambit of individuals who are involved in therapeutic rehabilitation of offenders. It also includes levels of training on substance abuse and mental health, as well as the new medication-assisted treatment best practices, which are specifically focused on opioid addiction. And so after going to that training last year, I came back and I had a lot of new ideas and met with the treatment court team that we have. There are 8 of us, and explained that, this is a really great training and it would be fantastic if we could go as a team. One of the goals of that was so that we could each break off into our different disciplines, learn some of those new training skills on mental health, substance abuse, opioid addiction, how to prevent overdose deaths, and then bring that back and implement some of those best practices into our treatment court. So I met with Colleen very early on and said, what do you know about, federal grants, local grants? And then she reported back that federally there were some funds available, but locally we had funds available through the opioid settlement funds. And at that point in time, no one had really applied to utilize any of those. And so she just sent me some information and I prepared a request for them. I mapped out what our goal was in attending the training together and why it would be important for us to attend it together, and then how we can implement that. And the grant itself is an entirely pass-through grant for the county. So the county has no actual out-of-pocket loss on this. So for me, it was, I know the budgets can't fund attendance at a national conference. And so on our treatment court team, we have probation services, juvenile probation, of course. We have a representative from the Department of Health and Welfare. We have a prosecutor, a public defender, a community member, and then a treatment provider who is the treatment provider for our treatment court participants. And so I got all the estimates together as far as what it would cost for 7 of us to go. The community member wasn't able to because of other obligations, but what would it cost to send all 7 of us to this training in Houston? I prepped the application, I submitted it. It was a very late response because it was one of the first applications they had received. So it took a while for them to make it through their process, and they fully funded the entire thing. We didn't get the contract because they were in the process of making a contract up for this grant until we actually were already on our way to Houston. And so that's why you're getting it at this point, is that we were notified we were accepted and received the funding, but we didn't actually get the contract until the grant's almost over. So that's why you're receiving it so late. I sent it to Ben for prosecutor review as far as the terms. The actual mechanism by which it works is we simply submit the reimbursement. There's an in fund and an out fund set up by Tammy, and then the county is just submitting all of those reimbursements that I have taken on the obligation of pooling together. And they just submit it for one lump sum check that comes back into the county and completely allows you to close that fund because it'll be fully reimbursed. Okay. So that's the manner by which it works. There is a final grant report that's due, and that is due on July 15th. I've actually already got the report draft completed. So, and I've already gotten everyone's reimbursements. The final submissions, I was just going through to double check that they are consistent with what we've been awarded. And then those will go in tomorrow. And then the grant report will go to Panhandle Health along with the request for full reimbursement. And once they review that, approve it, then they'll send a check to the county and all of the in and out funds can be closed. So
Yeah, I seen those when they came through.
and the other piece of this is that one of my real goals is while we were there, coming together at the end of each day as a team to ensure that we could meet immediately when the information is fresh in our mind and talk about how does what you learned today in your courses impact our treatment court? Do you have ideas based on that, on how we can come back and make changes that will make participants more successful? One of the biggest challenges in our treatment court is resources. And so, as you know, we're very limited on treatment resources. We're limited on funding for participants to participate in treatment. We're limited on, training components and networking with similar sized jurisdictions. One of the benefits of this conference is that you're able to actually go to courses specific on rural jurisdictions. And so you're able to be exposed to those types of training components. When we came together each day, we took notes each day. Okay, these are some of the things we need to go back and have a business meeting on and change in our waiver and agreement with our participants. We need to put this kind of term in there. We need to seek out, we got some referrals for some free trainings that we can do on the web ongoing. And then also some individuals that we can ask to come and not only talk to our participants about the risk of overdose when they've been in sobriety for so long, but also additional resources on how we can identify some of those red flags and implement treatment structure for our participants overall to minimize that risk. So for us, it was a very successful week, and we definitely made the most of it. We certainly we met every day after class and went through the day, each of us just getting the spotlight to kind of talk about the takeaways. And I'm confident it's really made our program a lot stronger. And the benefit of that is that all of these same players are not just for our treatment court. They also work with the felony level offenders who are in the community on probation and parole. They work with our misdemeanor level offenders who are on misdemeanor or juvenile probation. And so all of these tools expand and the training expands beyond just our treatment court. So we have about 8 people in our treatment court right now. The highest we've ever had is 13. And that's a pretty busy load for Mr. Smith. But it definitely has been beneficial. So I do apologize the way it worked out. I was, I would say, bugging Panhandle Health on contract documents a lot, but they just kept telling me that it's in our legal department. We're drafting it because we haven't had one drafted before. And so thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience.
The Panhandle board meetings, they mentioned that Shoshone being the first and only county so far to utilize the funds.
That's good.
So, and I'm hopeful with the report that will be submitted, and of course a copy of that will be sent to you as well, so that you have that in all of the different things, not only topics we address, but some of the goals we have for implementing the training we had in the next 2 years. So I'm very excited about it. I'm grateful we were able to go. Do you have any questions?
It sounds like it went well.
It did.
It's exciting. It's going to be exciting to see how you guys implement it, and it, it's going to really be a positive effect on our community.
Absolutely.
I like seeing this between the eyelid program and this, and we need a lot of help for people here.
And it just happened to be that when we went down there, I think in our community alone, and not all drug related, but just that couple of weeks before we went, we'd had 10 deaths.
Mhm.
And so, that's hard. A lot of our treatment participants knew many of the people. And so navigating the grief and loss piece with their addiction issues is going to be important. But one of the things that I did was one of the sessions I went to was specifically on grief and loss and how that plays into the treatment court role. And so, I'm just hopeful of being able to continue to grow and learn. And I'm very much an individual who believes you have to keep learning and adjusting as things go on. And so I'm happy to be able to kind of have the team be exposed to all that knowledge as well, so we can grow as a team.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have you guys do this.
Yes,
Thanks.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you reviewed the contract and
Yeah.
like, do you want to do the motion to approve it?
Yep.
I think it's, it's a win-win, where the county's not paying for it and it's, and somebody else is paying for it. It's the drug opioid people that are causing the issue that
Absolutely.
it's coming out of their pocket.
So we just need
That's
to
always
approve the
nice.
contract.
Yes.
Set forth. So I'll make a motion to accept the letter of agreement for the RISE program.
Okay, I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's it.
Okay, and then once it's signed, Sydney, if you'll just send me a copy, I'll actually just send that back in with my report. So, okay.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you so much. Anytime.
Well,
Always
thank you,
happy.
sir.
And
Thanks, Keisha, for all the
I
hard work.